And we're live with Fourth Watch.
It's weird without the intro.
I know, it's
Yeah.
really
Oh, it
It's like
weird.
is.
sudden.
You get to hear all the voices and everything. So here we are. Welcome to Fourth Watch. For those of you that are new, this is our opportunity to come with players and the DM for games that have come to a close and kind of get to ask all your burning questions. We get to dig a little bit, get all of the answers that you are craving in your soul. I think we should go ahead and just go around, make everybody introduce yourself, say what character you played, what role you played. I am Mindy. I will be one of your hosts for today, along with Alex. Goat. Since you Goat. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. Hi, everybody. I'm Alex. I am one of your hosts today, and I'm pretty sure it's my job to ask the most ridiculous questions I can think of. So I cannot wait to get started on that.
It's my job to keep us on track.
Hello, I'm Goat. I voiced everyone not voiced by these people. Yeah.
I'll go, sure. Sorry. Hi, I'm Mare. I played Cat Emberheart. That's it.
I'm Than, and I played Tyrell Andonius.
I'm Luke, and I played Altamir Veraza.
I'm Lady Dave, and I played everyone's favorite werewolf, Aoife Galert.
I'm Eva, and I played Ragna Heartrender.
I'm just saying, I think maybe the boys were everyone's favorite werewolves.
Hey!
Oh, wow.
They were good werewolves. They're very good boys, they were, but...
Not the best.
Vote in
Like,
chat.
come on,
Did
man.
the boys or Aoife have a better accent?
Hey!
I'm voting
I'm
Aoife.
kidding. It was very obviously Aoife.
You know,
Thank you.
Don't fuck with
I-
the mistress of the hunt.
one of my
beat their asses.
I will say, you all had some fantastic character voices, and you know what? Like, why would we start with something easy when we can start with something fun and difficult? So, because we didn't get to hear any of the voices, and one voice in particular always threw me off and startled me and scared me, I would like to go around and everyone give your best Tyrell voice impression.
Go this way.
So, anyone is free to start us off. Actually, how about this? Than, since Tyrell was your character, will you please just give us a reminder?
Give us some
No.
sample text.
Get Sam.
Yeah.
Yes, there it is.
Yeah, I can do that. It was dark that night. I had just finished my first kill for the Dark Brotherhood. Is that good enough?
I feel like that's pretty good. All right, who's ready? Who's ready to give it a go?
Yeah, I can do that. It was a dark night. The first night I
So,
killed for the Dark Brotherhood.
Beautiful.
you just want, like, the best Tyrell impression, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're some of us are at a significant disadvantage, but I'm Tyrell, and I like to kill things a lot. It's my favorite thing in the whole world.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
That was beautiful. I went there. Who's next?
It was a dark night.
Hey.
Under the moon, I found a shadow. Somewhere I could be, and other people could not see me. It was like nothing I'd ever experienced before.
That
It was dark like my soul.
Oh my god.
What soul?
Exactly.
Oh, jeez.
Void. Mare, Eva.
Oh, I already did mine. It was just staring intently at the camera.
Oh.
Nice. Nice. Yeah.
All right, Eva.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Hear you. I know what you said.
I was gonna say that's probably for the best. Just, fuck.
Can we have an impression of Ragna doing an impression of Tyrell?
Oh, I like this.
Oh God.
I don't even know where to start. Can we get
From
the sample?
everybody or just
no,
from
just
Eva?
Eva. Just Eva.
I was like,
Eva.
that's an
Yeah,
Eva.
yeah.
Oh. hello, I am dark and scary mean man, but I have some sort of honor and don't like kitties.
100% worth it.
So up until that point, I thought we were just having a Batman party for a second, so it's fine. That was beautiful. That's it. That's our whole
Yeah,
fourth
thanks,
watch.
guys.
That's all I needed.
All right,
Oh,
cool.
that's everything.
Now I want to do Tyrell doing Ragna.
Go
Do
for it.
it.
Go it, do it.
I'm here
Fucking
for
do
you.
it.
You all
Hello.
as a
I am Ragna. I have my good best kitty, Bashir, with me. That's all I got.
Mother.
That was the best.
That was
so good.
That was
That
great.
was perfect.
There were
Oi,
so many.
I'm Ragna, and I like to read things and stuff.
And
Eva's not
Aoife,
good at
the
impressions.
mistress of the hunt. And I'm also a werewolf.
When did this become a roast?
Awoo.
I'm sorry.
Let's
Oh,
just.
God.
This is it. This is the whole. We're just gonna be each other's characters, be our own characters, being other characters.
We're gonna do
Now-
musical chairs
And the
for
dude
Now-
playing the other dude disguised as
I'm
the other dude.
Ultimate
dude
Veraza,
playing the
and
dude.
I hate being a vampire, but even though it's like really fun and I'm powerful and stuff, but I'm conflicted about it.
Oh, okay.
I'm all
There's
sad
some
about
commentary happening now.
wow.
Sorry, that's Eva's version of impressions. It's just being,
Tyrell
The
appreciated
claws
that one.
coming out.
yeah.
For a werewolf, Eva's kind of a
Oh.
catty bitch.
Wow.
Hey, I mean,
You're not
also
wrong.
not wrong.
Yeah.
Eva's not the cat in this game.
All right, Alex.
Okay. Okay, so I have a somewhat. I have a somewhat different question in that I would like to know from everybody, how did playing in a different setting that is very explicitly not written for like the typical D&D assumptions of like game mechanics, like how did that affect you making your characters? And Goat, how did that affect you running your game and doing homebrew and saying like, oh, this is the magic that you probably can do, and this is the magic that you probably might not do based on the setting. So just like, how did playing in Elder Scrolls affect the like 5e experience?
That's a good question. I've got some thoughts on it. I think that the way I'd only played one of the Elder Scrolls games before, and so the rest I really had to field off of Goat for most questions. But one of the things I was able to do is latch onto something flavorfully or very like lore intensive in the world of Elder Scrolls that I knew to be standing, and then grow upon that to the point where it fits into 5e. And so Goat's homebrew sorcerer with a vampiric bloodline was like the immediate juiciest thing that I could think of from Elder Scrolls lore that I was able to hook onto. So I think Goat created good kind of hooks that allowed us to mechanically find our identities within the world.
Absolutely. I knew from the moment that we were playing in Elder Scrolls that I was going to be in the Dark Brotherhood and I was going to play a rogue, because I haven't played a rogue in a while, and rogues are my special boys. And so then the back and forth with Goat talking about how that would actually work, being such a high level character, just came up with so many cool little reasons for a guy like Tyrell to actually stick around other people, because he normally wouldn't. But giving him a solid big reason why was fun, and it's fun to be a stabby boy. Elder Scrolls is perfect for that.
My impact on like playing in this setting, I had no impact. I have never played Elder Scrolls, period. So I really focused on what class I wanted to play and my background, and it literally was just a back and forth with Goat on how to make it work and make it fit. And that's how I literally was like, I think I'm just gonna play a samurai. I've never played a samurai. And then Goat was like, eyes emoji, I'm gonna DM you. Do you want to be part of the Blades? And I'm like, sure. Sounds rad.
I also am not super familiar with Elder Scrolls. I've played maybe like 10 hours of it total. And it's interesting because Aoife is so tied into the Daedric Princes, so I had a lot of research to do, but with Goat's help I was able to like I mean, and there's a whole like story of how we came up with Aoife in the first place and creating her, because I had not originally wanted to do Warlock was not my first choice as far as like character classes was concerned. I've never played one, and it's not been my like go-to class for any reason. But the more we talked, and as we talked as a group, there were some things that came up that I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. That sounds like something I'd want to play with. And I mean, it helps that Goat is so familiar with the lore and just knows it. Like, I mean, how much he was able to give as far as information is concerned, and how much we were able to, that like, I feel like I know everything about her scene, even if I don't. Like, I just felt like such a strong part of the world that it didn't even, I don't know that it felt weird at all to be playing in a sort of different world that's not necessarily made for D&D. And I feel like sometimes with the D&D worlds too, like there's so many different versions of like Faerun and Forgotten Realms, and like, and I don't know all of the lore behind D&D, and I've not, and you know, so many people work in like Sanmaria as a homebrew world that's pulled from different systems and things like that too. So to me, it just felt like another homebrew world, one that has backstory that I can actually look up on Wikipedia, which was helpful.
We can't hear you, Eva.
Hi, is it?
There it
you
goes.
are.
There it goes. It wasn't.
It's like a weird pause. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, so for me, I'm in like the middle. Like I've played some Elder Scrolls. I haven't played heaps of Elder Scrolls. Don't look at my Steam numbers, please.
Literally doing that right now.
But the best part was just to say like, I think I want to have this, that, or the other thing. And then Goat would just be like, great, that doesn't exist, so try again. Or, that only works if you have gone through this certain area of the world. And having played some Elder Scrolls, you know, it's just an area that I didn't think I would ever get to RP in. So that was an awful lot of fun. And the surprises, you know, Bashir being a surprise. Just when you think you kind of know where everything's fitting, it didn't. So, yeah.
It's alright.
Eva, you've played ESO for 325 hours.
Oh, damn.
Shut up, Dan.
That's a lot. Not
One
as
more
much as me,
time?
but it's a lot.
Oh,
325.
Just a few hours,
Just
only a little bit.
Just 325 times more than me.
So, I've probably put twice that much into Skyrim, and 4 times that much into Oblivion, and at least that much into ESO, and I've played a lot of these games. It was super fun for me. This idea came about a year ago, and I got to do some stuff with them. And there was just enough people that wanted to do it, and it was challenging. I remember during character creation, I'd sit down and be like, okay, you can't choose teleportation magic, you can't choose this type of magic, you can't choose these type of items. If you want this item, it's 3 times more expensive than normal. Like, just the number of things I had to cover for what could be done and not done was a lot. And then Elder Scrolls also just has a lot more stuff. Like every character, it came up for not everybody, but the birth signs that everybody had, those were homebrew feats that I made. Everybody had everybody had homebrew gear. Everybody had some aspect of their class homebrewed. Everybody, yeah, you did. Yeah, Shadowblade.
Okay, the very end.
I'm
Not,
just
not a
saying,
character
yeah.
creation.
It's true. It's true.
Pretty
So,
much everything having to do with Aoife is homebrewed.
God, and I will say, like, big ups to Lady Day, because everybody else, I could just homebrew something and add it to their D&D Beyond sheet, and that was great. D&D Beyond does not let you homebrew invocations and pact options. You can only homebrew patrons, and that's not what the Pact of the Blood is. So Lady Dame had to have a paper sheet and a digital sheet to keep track of like the homebrew gear that I made for her, and then like so she was always going through between everything, and I'm very impressed by the dedication.
I had no idea. That is impressive.
Yeah, I had probably, I would say, I think for whenever I was in combat with Aoife, I probably had at least 3 different tabs open, one with like goats, invocations, and like class features that I could do as Pact of the Blood. I had my regular D&D Beyond sheet for all of the spells that I could do. And then I think I had, and of course when I transformed, I had those stats up as well for werewolf and all of that. So I had, I mean, it was everywhere.
Oh yeah, and pretty much every creature had to be homebrewed.
Applause for
Like-
Lady Dame.
In a class that I've never played before at like level 17. It was fine.
It was fun.
All right. So I have a question for the players. How is your? I just love when it says SOS. How was your SOS character like other characters you've played before, and how were they different? And in those differences, was there anything that was especially challenging, either mechanically or, I mean, we kind of heard some of the mechanics that might have been difficult, but or narrative or RP wise?
Gerald's a rogue.
Oh,
My
okay.
first ever character was a rogue. So I love rogues. And so, yeah, he was different in that he was my first ever evil character. First ever character that I aligned evil. That was challenging specifically in that one time when I let everyone else fight over Bashir and just kind of ate popcorn and sat on the sidelines and had to play that I don't give a shit person when Dan really gave a shit.
Kat was, I actually was very worried at the very beginning of the campaign because at the time I was playing another very information-driven character that Alex knows who I'm talking about, and I was very concerned that they were too similar in personality. However, as we continued to play, one gave a shit and one did not, and had like an actual moral compass. So playing Kat allowed me to actually stick to my guns, and like, I think I did a pretty good job on playing who she was. I think this is my very first like lawful good character that has stayed lawful good.
Definitely came across as lawful good.
This is oh, you go ahead, Eva.
Ragna, like a few, I think most other characters I had before her, kind of had a strong optimism, I think, and inherent cheerfulness that I have sort of started to get away from, I think. But she had the most work put into her, I think, in terms of, you know, what would she think, how would she behave, such as the conspiracy theories and all of that. I put more back-end work, I guess, into her. Like, you know, I had a whole list of things she would think about or say or whatever, so she was good character growth for me as well.
For me, man, that's a big question, but there has to come with the context of the fact that this is the first time that I've really played a character knowing that I was jumping into the level of RP that our peeps do. And so I'd played bards before, and bards are kind of like my favorite kind of comfort class surprise. And yeah, I know, it's really surprising. And it was really fun, by the way, Altamir, when people thought that Alt was a bard for the first like 3 sessions. So that was fun.
It was great. Holy crap.
But to be serious though, it was really actually an intriguing plot to basically take what Goat gave me in terms of setting up how someone who was not a vampire to have to, at a very crucial time, become a vampire, and then not really fully of his own volition. And it was really neat to play that out in thinking through what someone would really go through like that. Like, what would they really be so quick to accept it, or would they have these internal struggles? And man, it was really satisfying to play that and to have that conflict within a character that I wasn't like thinking, I wasn't intentionally doing. I was just kind of what would all think. So it was really different for me than any other character in that form, where I've been able to have that internal monologue come out through a character so well. But I think it was also because of these wonderful people that incubate that. So.
I know I've talked a little bit about what made Aoife very different than what I usually play. I tend to play sort of sweet and not particularly bright characters a lot. I always get nervous when I set out to be kind of a sassier character. I know Iris, has been on the sassier level, but that was super long ago and it was just for the one session, so it's not something that I play very often. So having somebody who is somebody who's quicker on the uptake like Aoife is was a little trickier. And just like also I was worried about establishing the relationship with the patron, with her scene like well. I usually play clerics and and the cleric relationship is a little different than it doesn't have to be, but it often is. And yeah, there was a little bit of a backstory thing with Ragna and Aoife, where Aoife was really like Ragna was her rival. Ragna used to tease her when she was little and she was really resentful of that, and like trying to stay a little like salty at Eva is really hard. It's like nearly impossible. So that, and I mean it quickly sort of stopped being, but trying to do that in the first couple of sessions was like, but I love you. And Ragna, it's hard to also just stay mad at Ragna. So that was a little challenging, but there's a little bit of feistiness in Aoife that was, that is, I think, part of who I generally am. And like, yeah, I think that answers that question.
I think that was everybody, right? I have one really quick question and then another one we can dive into real fast. So this is a question that just came in from Camille. Goat, this is for you. This is, and I quote, Goat, why are you so great?
Saw that question. Actually, it's how are you so great?
Oh, is it? Let me check.
Stop
You're
deflecting.
probably right.
So
how are you so great? Okay.
And why?
honestly, I am just a dude,
Okay, Aravad.
and everyone else is the good. No, actually, that is where I was going. Like,
We
I
know.
could sit on this stream and talk, and just be like, be all the characters myself and do a one-man show, and no one would watch it. It's all the individuals and all of like the unique dynamics, and I just play off of what y'all brought. So yeah.
Can I interject and can we all say something really good about Goat because
No.
he didn't answer the
Absolutely.
question?
Nope.
Yes, absolutely.
As
Yes.
the hosts, we say yes.
Beautiful. Goat, you're great. You're so hardworking and you're a great person and so lovable. Hearts.
You're really creative with your
Yes.
implementations and your homebrews, and yep.
I thought that was a toy dinosaur, and I was very confused.
There is, I think, in there's a spirit of collaboration and a very generous spirit that Goat has that makes like everything about being a part of a Goat game and being part of the world is so like it's just warm and fuzzy and wonderful because
I was gonna
Oh.
say you did all the Daedric princes and the Daedra really well, and that elevated our game to a whole new level.
It feels like we're a team and we're playing and we're good.
Let me get away with.
Not that I'm biased
incredible-
about the Daedric.
You let me get away with incredible bullshit that was still in
Incredible.
game and in game, and you listen as a DM and as a person and as a friend. And I think I said this last Friday, but you inspire me to be a better player.
Hey, there we go.
True.
Those all seem like good answers to me.
Goat is goat.
Alex, do you have another question, or do you want me to swing a question?
I just wanted to quickly mention something. I want to follow up with Lady Dame real fast because you were just talking about like where characters came from and how they were different from other characters we played. I wanted to know kind of specifically where Aoife came from because like I did not think you were Warlock. I thought like first session you were some kind of weird druid or some shit. And so how did we get a weird martial warlock type person? Like where did Aoife come from? What was that process? Because
That's an excellent question. So my first, I don't know if this question is going to come down the line or not, whatever. My first plan was to go cleric with this campaign because I haven't played one on stream and I love them. And then and Goat had talked about like, okay, in the Elder Scrolls world, clerics are usually worshippers of the Aedra. If you're following the Daedra, you're probably a warlock. And I was like, okay, well, I want to be a cleric. That I love that class, whatever. And then we were talking, and it somehow I don't think this was like an official session here. It was just like a chat, and Luke had mentioned what Altamir was and where like the Altamir's a vampire, and I was like, you know what would be really funny, and because like this is how I think is like, it's Elder Scrolls. I know they have both werewolves and vampires. Like, what if I was a werewolf? And Goat had said something about being a werewolf, and I was like, I should be a werewolf because then we have a werewolf and a vampire in the party. And then that sort of just came like it all. That's how I picked that class, and it was like he was like, you could be the like follower of Hircine, who's the the Daedric Prince of the Hunt, and you could do this homebrew class that I made, the Pact of the Blood. I'm like, obviously I'm going to do that because I'm in an Elder Scrolls like homebrew game. I get to use this class that nobody has ever used before because he literally finished it like 2 weeks before we started, and I was like, I have to. And just like because because it's all about hunt and stuff like that, there's a lot of like ranger like flavor to her, and like the relationship with Ragna was something that Eve and I had come up with. The relationship with Alt, which we had sort of created a little bit of a relationship that was only vaguely touched on, and that's I just had this and something that Eva had said about us having sort of like a little bit of a rivalry was like, okay, well, it makes sense. There's this girl who like is tiny, she's small, and she gets teased for being tiny and small. She wants to be stronger, she wants to be bigger, so she enters into a pact with the Daedric Prince of the Hunt so that she can get the power and the strength. And that was the thing about her scene is like transforming as she gets to be stronger as a werewolf than she does by herself. So all of that was kind of how she got to be who she was, Ragna teased her into becoming a werewolf, basically.
So you mentioned that there was some ranger flavor to Aoife.
Mhm.
Would it be
Yes.
fair to say that Aoife then is in the ranger zone?
To save us from that, and before we move on to the next question, I do wonder, because it was a conversation on Discord that the Lady Dave and I had about this, where she was saying a lot about cleric, and then she's like, wait a minute, like, werewolf? And when I was talking about it, she said, is anyone interested in being a warlock? And I talked kind of like what everybody was leading, and she said, sweet. I know by switching out from warlock to cleric that we lose a potential healer, but really, a balance party is overrated anyway.
Fact.
Yes,
That's fair.
correct.
I did say that, yes.
We had, yeah.
Okay, before Alex chimes in with another delightful zinger, I have a question for Eva. And I'm all about the ships. I mean, we're all about the ships in the land of the Ophrei. So did Ragna have an actual legitimate crush on Kat?
Ragna had complicated feelings. I think anytime you're kind of working through grief, you don't know exactly what you're feeling. But if she... I think shortest story is probably yes. Like, a lot to work through there, a lot to unpack. But yes, I would say so.
Noted.
And speaking of Kat, if we don't want to be sad now, Mare, can you tell us about Kat's final resolution about what happened after the finale?
The one that we just figured out and finished like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, that one.
So Goat and I have been back and forth like this entire week trying to figure out and finally finish out what the fuck happened. Long story short, she's been gone for 8 years. Not on Mundus. After going into Oblivion, lots of fighting, met Daddy Eyes Hermaeus Mora, and basically did a lot of tasks for him in return for getting sent back to Mundus. That is the long and short of it. It was either
Hermaeus
that...
Mora's motivation, though, and that pretty much everybody forgot this. I did until right after the stream ended. Just sent Mare a message like frantically. Kat had the Elder Scroll when she got left in the Deadlands.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Hermaeus Mora was like,
Hey.
well, hello there.
So I had a lot of thinking to do and whether I wanted to give him the Elder Scroll or not, and I concluded that would be a bad idea. And decided to just work off the debt for 8 years.
So speaking of future years and how things continue to unfold after the end of where we saw your story end, where did all of your characters end up? 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from where we ended the campaign, how did their lives continue?
Well, Angramars didn't.
Okay. Fair.
I will say 8 years she did get back, and she stopped in at the Durrani estate, found her warhorse who was still alive. Heck yeah. And went back to the Imperial City, and stuff is hitting the fan there, and that's another story, basically.
Tyrell is a speaker for the Dark Brotherhood. He started an entire sanctuary on Somerset, and he's basically in charge of all the assassins on Somerset, the Dark Brotherhood. That was his entire point of being there.
Alt continued with his vampire self to train and learn from Lynn for a little bit longer. And then after he went back to the main continent, he went back to Daggerfall and started a theater and kind of like home for misfits. And it's called Hidden Gifts. And it's kind of like a training camp for kids that want to learn how to do theater and things of that nature, but just also for anyone who wants to stop by. And of course, Aoife and maybe Ragnar and whoever would come visit, he would of course give them the best seats in the house.
Very busy, I'm sorry. So much killing.
So little time.
So little time.
Ragna,
We all know Tyrell's not sorry.
We know. Trust, we know. Ragna would have stayed in the Somerset's probably just a little shack, a little house, tiny house somewhere. Probably not too tiny because Bashir's rather large now that I think about it. Assuming there was nothing he wanted to do, she would just like hang out, maybe have a boat, wait for Kat to come back, hang out with Aoife when she's not doing werewolfy things, go see Alt. I don't imagine she's a classy theater patron, but she's got the spirit.
I've thought about this a little bit recently. I mean, I know at our finale, I had Aoife, I thought would, visit Ragna generally in probably some were form. She may even learn were spider just for Ragna. She would go to see plays because she had seen Altamir back before all of this had happened, and loved the performance, even though she probably also is not a very classy theater patron either, because at this point she's like half feral. I had said also that she would definitely visit Tyrell and try and get him to go hunting with her, and try and stay in touch with him in that regard. But ultimately, this came up, people in previous champions of the hunt don't tend to live very long, and because there's always somebody coming up gunning for that title, and so I don't imagine, I would be surprised if she even lived long enough for Kat to come back, or stayed long enough for Kat to come back. I don't know, and this is also, I don't know how some of this Elder Scrolls stuff work. I like to think that she also eventually just joined her scene in his realm and just was on the Great Hunt forever, and Goat might be able to clarify that a little bit better, but I like to think that's what happened.
Hey, Goat, why you rolling?
Yeah. Oh, no. No, I thought we were done with dice.
So far, you have defeated 5 up-and-coming champions.
Yes.
So you were actually the mistress of the hunt for a while.
Yeah.
And that's where you died.
Yeah.
So that would have taken, another 20 years.
Oh, okay. So she would have been, here's the thing. Aoife, by the end of it, was not about, she might have said hi to Kat and might have, but would have been wary. Some of the stuff that happened at the end, she was Aoife and Kat have very different philosophies on things.
You probably long-term, just to tack onto that, would have been permanently made into a hound when you ascended. And then you could have gone on the Blood Moon hunts, which is a whole other piece of lore we didn't get into.
No, but that's what I kind of figured. She is loyal as the day is long to her scene. She may have dallied around some other times, but with actual people, but her true loyalty is with her prince.
So I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably about 30% sadder than I was 30 minutes ago. Thinking specifically about that and about Ragna living in her little house on Somerset, just waiting for Kat to come back. And as a result, I'm going to distract myself with this question for Goat, which is, and I quote, "What the fuck was the puzzle with the 31 save DC in the second to last episode?"
Okay, the corrupted void. So the towers, there's 4 towers. 3 towers in the Elder Scrolls universe. This one was constructed by people after one of the other ones. Huge, super magical, super important, awesome place. The towers are innately magical. All of them are. And that one in particular has certain divination properties, and it was not really a fan of the whole Elder Scroll Sigil Stone plot thing that was happening. So it's actually something that Angramar had to get through as well. Part of why he was so freaking tired. But it was, to get out of the darkness, you had to give up looking for what you sought. So I would ask you all, what are you looking for? And if you were looking for something specific, you had to make a charisma roll to try to overcome the personality that was the darkness. That DC went down over time as you all got to understand what was happening, and you overcame your fear, which all the fear was from Angramar, by the way. That wasn't a feature, that was just a combo play I got to do, because Angramar was the College of Whispers bard. So yeah, eventually that DC went down, but it started at 31, which none of you could, I think, make a charisma save. Maybe Luke and Lady Dan. You guys could have made a 31.
I had a plus 11.
Okay, so on a nat 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say that's the same for me, but I'll look.
So
I could get a 21.
So that was the point of that, and there was a way to solve it. I do traps like that in 3 tiers. There's the eventually you just make it through. It just takes you a long time, and that's kind of what happened. You got to use resources, whatever. Then there's the you figured out how to get out and you got out, and then there's the you understand exactly what this was and how to recreate it. And if you had followed all of the advice on all of the statues, given up what you sought, there's a couple of things you could do. Eventually you would become a beacon of light and you would dissipate the darkness, would have been what happened. That did not happen though.
That. All right, so I have a question for the Dan. I've got God. Why does Tyrell have the voice that he does? Is that just like, is he secretly Batman?
No, actually,
Dang it.
he
I'm disappointed.
did not have the safest, most fun life growing up. He never uncovered it because he was always wearing a mask, and even when he pulled the mask down, he just pulled it down, so it was around his neck. You'd never seen. He's got this scar, really deep scar right across here from a job that almost went really bad. So I mean, he had a normal voice that probably would have sounded just like this if that hadn't happened. But after that happened, they fucked his voice box up.
And this is why we
Wait,
have
what do you
Fourth
mean that
Watch.
happened and the job almost went bad?
Oh, I survived, so it's fine. They
Wait.
died. I didn't.
Oh. As you do.
I mean, I may have died. I may not have. It's fine. I'm here now.
I have more questions now. That's fine. Okay.
He's an assassin
I mean, yeah, but
in a den of lawful evil people.
Not all of them are lawful.
Well, no, not of them were lawful. Bingo. And that's the thing. Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't have friends. And there's a reason.
Alt tried.
Alt tried real hard.
The most-
Honestly, Aoife coming and pestering him to go on hunts is probably the closest thing he's ever had to a friend in his entire life.
I mean, it's because
I ship
Eva
it.
thought Tyrell was hot.
Ship it. Shipped. Leaving the harbor.
Sailing.
so many
Look, he's
ships.
really good at killing things. It's very exciting.
Yeah, I'm saying. Dan would have loved that. Tyrell was not. Didn't care. Dan would have loved that, though.
I think we all would have.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, it's hard to like fully flesh out a ship in like 5 days.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It was 4.
Yeah,
I think you all were
reminder.
Yeah, we were only
4
in the
days
world
in
for
game.
4 days. Yeah, y'all were a long weekend for Tyrell.
Yeah, what if after Aoife becomes a permanent hound, then Tyrell randomly is like, "Hey, you want to go on another hunt?" And then like it's Tyrell and Aoife as the hound is.
I need fan art.
There you go.
Speaking of other questions, I have this very, very deep and thought-provoking, insightful question coming up. Fan, what is it with you and passive perception?
Have you not seen the benefit of passive perception in all my characters?
I mean,
It's
I
so
have,
good.
but also...
It's honestly, it's just a quirk of me playing D&D. I love having high perception, and I always choose it as one of my proficiencies. And yeah, I love having high perception. I love seeing and knowing everything.
At one point during character creation, your passive perception was like 40.
Yeah, that
because-
was a fun. Every single one of my skills was like 30 or 40 or something, and it was like
That's what happens when you mistype something into D&D Beyond homebrew.
I was talking to Eva. I'm like,
I was
Nah.
I could just not tell him.
what did you get that? I have this sweet bow, but it doesn't do anything like that.
Yeah, I think what had happened was because I chose my
What did you
my
pay
sign was the
goat?
thief, and
It was supposed to give you
supposed to be a
bonus
+1
to stealth checks or something, but somehow it applied to all
It
skill
applied
checks
like a
and it
+10
doubled your
to
proficiency
everything.
bonus or something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was. I don't know how. So I got in there. I was like, oh god.
it was hilarious. My stats were ridiculous.
So, goat. Eva mentioned when she was talking about Ragna's years after the campaign, and Bashir being the best good kitty, the good best kitty. I'm so sorry. Was there anything that Bashir, the good best kitty, wanted to do when he was free? Was there anything that he wanted to do that Ragna would have been able to either do with him, or what did the good best kitty? I keep wanting to say best good kitty and put it in alphabetical order.
So Bashir, and I actually forgot to send Eva the stats for him, was originally a devil. He was a beast of the devil subtype because he was a servant of Namira. This was the second half of the full bar Namira corruption. Was that whole encounter at the end? So getting free was a very strange experience because he went from being a devil to being a paladin of Kine. Because he's a higher creature, like the matrons that y'all encountered. Like, he's on that tier of creation. Beasts are created tiers. It's weird. Anyway, so his whole life just suddenly got better. But really the only thing he would have wanted to do was stay with Ragna forever, because that was the best he'd ever been treated on any of his jobs that he'd ever been on. And this was the 14th time. No, this is the 13th time that he had been in Mundus.
That deep lore for Bashir. I love it.
Everything. All of your items have crazy lore. Everything has lore.
I just got really emotional.
So you're gonna DM us all that lore, right?
The good
I
best.
mean, y'all never knew that my bird Rico wasn't a bird.
What?
What?
Wait, what?
Answer now. This is fourth watch. Tell us.
I assumed it was a familiar, but
Yeah.
It is familiar, but it works
Yeah.
differently in Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
And so basically, it was an imp that could polymorph and transform into things.
That's
And
awesome.
I never got to use it well, but yeah, Rico is not just an innocuous bird.
Yeah, it wasn't one of those 3 hit point familiars. Rico, I think he had 20 hit points and could cast 6 spells or something insane.
It was crazy.
What?
I wish we saw
Yep.
more of Rico.
I
Mhm.
feel like I'm the only person that actually got everything out that he could do. Well, just about actually.
Yeah,
There's a
I
few
think you
things I couldn't quite
are.
do.
I was gonna say there's a couple of the Mystic Arcanums that I could do as a warlock that I didn't get out, but everything
Werlock.
Werlock.
Hey,
Hey, there it is. She's a werlock.
he's a werlock.
I think I got everything out that was specific to Elder Scrolls and specific to Aoife's. You know, like that isn't like the normal stuff. I think I got everything out.
No, I think I just had a couple spells that I didn't get to cast. That I tried a couple times and it didn't work out.
I think I got everything for Ragna. I mean, given that I didn't know anything about Bashir, besides the fact that he was a good kitty. I think that was everything.
Alt
Yeah.
also had a fan that could cast Gust of Wind. Fun fact.
Stop
I actually
So
think
like, why
that
did we
that's
not get to see that
awesome.
though?
Look, I had to do some really. I had to break out an illusory lyre at one point, and that was a thing. I just had a lot, and it was like I could have brought things out at different times, but you know, you got to pick your moments.
I think honestly, Alt had the most things, like the most secrets left,
Yeah.
as far as abilities are concerned. Because we all know that Aoife has no secrets left. Because the first session
Yeah.
was like, by the way, I'm a werewolf in the middle of a town.
Yep. Sure did.
Just gonna drop that.
Yeah, I used all my cool items. Like I used the immovable rod. I used the goggles of night.
Fuck your removable rod.
It was so good.
At least in terms of like homebrew stuff, there was a couple things I didn't get to use, unfortunately.
Yeah, my only homebrew thing really was my Blade of Woe that turned into something else.
Like my sword, I never got a chance to use its other ability where I can cast shield on an ally, unfortunately. And then there were a couple things with the whole Shadow Blade thing I didn't use.
Can we back up for a second? Blade of Woe, what?
Oh, so yeah, so that's a Dark Brotherhood thing in Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, no, I'm familiar with it from Skyrim.
That was
I didn't catch
what I
it in
had.
the stream. Okay.
Yeah, so it was a homebrewed version of a Blade of Woe.
Okay, I did not know that's
Friday.
what that was supposed to be.
I had a Blade of Woe and a Dagger of Venom, and those were my daggers.
I don't think he
I
ever
only got the
Okay.
Dagger of Venom off one time.
I don't think he ever said it was a Blade of Woe in stream.
Yeah.
I didn't. And
Okay.
it's also not a Blade of Woe anymore. It's a Sacramental Razor.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
It evolved.
I did not
It
catch
evolved when I got Angramar.
Because in Oblivion, the Blade of Woe, it starts as this like really shitty dagger, but then when you get far enough in it, it becomes a short sword and it's awesome. So that short sword is what Van started with, still as a dagger though. So he had the awakened Blade
We
of
called
Woe.
it a dagger, but it was a short
Yeah,
sword.
he had the awakened Blade of Woe, and then he had the Sacramental Razor.
All right.
Mm.
Well, I think we have time for one more question before we head off to break real fast. And this is a very important question that will require a lot of deep thought and strong consideration. So does anybody have any name suggestions for a Sunday stream? Because my last my last submission, which was Finley and her bitches, did not get approved. So I mean, we're really kind of desperate here, and I was wondering if I could get some creative feedback.
Wait.
Well, I
who
mean, you
said-
could
who
go
said-
that way, but with the like a band name thing. So like Finley and the Bitches.
Not gonna lie, I need that T-shirt regardless.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have
For
Camille put
sure.
it in the Steam store, the Twitch Streamlabs store.
You can steal Sunsets on Sunday instead of
Oh,
Sunsets on
shit.
Sunday.
I'll have to change all the SOS commands.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's
God,
fine.
yeah,
Oh,
wait, that's confusing.
That sounds like a pain.
Yeah. No.
Look, y'all, I've said my suggestion. It's never been taken, so I'm done.
I have
What is
nothing.
it? Did I hear it?
Sentinels of Fortune.
I did not hear that.
Hmm.
I've been saying it for like, well, I've been saying it
Oh,
for
and it's
to keep-
still. Yeah.
But
it's
okay.
still applicable, even
Is there
And
a
I know,
character named
but-
Sentinel?
there is. And so, but I wanted to keep it at the SF thing, so, but that's all I got.
That makes sense to keep it
Yeah.
SF.
SF is solid.
So fine.
Just saying.
So we'll meditate on it during break.
And we'll come back with
answers.
the answer.
Honestly, vaguely serious suggestion is
Oh.
Death's Keepers, since all of you all are somehow like there's a thing there where you've got a Raven Queen and then somebody hunting some undead, and that's like your whole thing right now.
Oh, that kind
Just
of
saying.
thing. Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying.
That's not bad.
Death Keepers.
And DK, then I can make all sorts of Donkey Kong jokes, and that'd be
my
dope.
Yeah, you can.
And on that note, we're gonna go to break.
Donkey Kong.
Stick around, go grab a stretch, grab some water, grab a snack, pet your fluffy
Fluffy
I was
what?
gonna say fluffy bubbies.
Your fluffy butts.
Fluffy butts.
I
Pet
mean,
those
you-
fluffy butts.
You know, you.
Oh wait,
you
are we
do-
still live?
what-
Shit.
What you do
Yes.
on your break is completely up to you.
Oh,
So
okay.
we will be right back with some more questions. If you have any more that you haven't heard, but you are suddenly inspired by some of the answers you've seen, type away in chat. Alex and I will pick them up. Otherwise, we will see you in just a couple minutes.
Oh baby, I love your madness. It's
Welcome to our Patreon. Here on Open for Adventure, we are making high quality Dungeons and Dragons content, folks. We have a great big world to share with you, and by becoming a patron, you can help us explore and expand upon this adventure. With your support, we can invest in more amazing artwork, better mics, fancy cameras, and overall stream quality. Not to mention, help us get some amazing new merch that we can use for giveaways. What do you get by becoming a patron? I'm so glad you asked. Let's take a look at the different levels and give you a sneak peek at what you can get at each tier. Did you know that the family of the First Lord Theo, the leader of the rebellion against the Empire, actually invented firearms nearly 25 years prior to the current campaign? The designs for this high-tech weapon are the Delaney family's best-kept secret. Also, they were originally invented by the late First Lady Victoria, Theo's mother. Access to lore leaks like this is what you can expect from the first tier, written in blog-style posts after each weekly session. Ever wonder what goes on off-camera? The next 3 tiers give you exactly that. With Stolen Moments, you can get access to text-based roleplay moments, highlighting experiences that don't make it onto the stream, like Leona's training session with Ray and Asmrin. Stolen Moments Plus gives you access to roleplay moments featuring our guests, non-player characters, and historical figures, featuring the likes of Marshall, Annalena, and even the Empress herself. And Roleplay Addiction takes us to a whole other level. This tier gives you exclusive 30-minute videos of canon interactions not otherwise seen on stream, like late-night drunken interactions between paladins or tender moments featuring your favorite character ships. The Warm Fuzzies is super simple. It's everything I've listed so far, and also you get your name on stream after our weekly regular sessions. Every session. And our undying love. And finally, the most epic of all Patreon tiers. Drum roll, please. The Lore Master. This ultimate and final tier gets you first look access at all of the content going into our upcoming, official, Open for Adventure campaign setting. Lore, maps, monsters, items, dungeons, dragons. Go ahead, have a look around, make yourself at home, and consider becoming a patron to help us make this fantasy world a little bit closer to reality.
Oh, hi. My name is Express Love. I'm the Senmarian god of coffee. Did you know that in Senmaria, every cup of coffee is made with found familiar coffee beans? That's canon. In Senmaria, every cup of coffee is good coffee because it's made with love by Found Familiar. Did you know that every bag of Found Familiar coffee features artwork from incredible members of the tabletop gaming community? That's canon. Each blend and roast of Found Familiar coffee features cool D&D names like Thieves' Cant, Face Step, and Pact Magic. In Senmaria, every royal meeting that Ray attends features the Cartographer's Blend, a brew of coffee made by Found Familiar in conjunction with Devin Rue. Now that's canon. Found Familiar coffee. Buy it today.
Pieces, yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium. The limit of love is endless, I know. Just do what you want with me. Yeah, I want it all. Could care less the cost. I give you my everything. Some would say I'm insane in the right and the way, but I just love to play in your fun and your games. Always hungry for more, that's just how I was born. Take me somewhere I don't know and give me your freedom. Whoa, you love me to pieces, yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium, life is so easy. Whoa, you love me to pieces, yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium. And give me your freedom. Whoa, yeah, me to pieces, yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium, life is so easy. Whoa, you love me to pieces, yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium. Oh, baby, I love your madness. It's so incredibly beautiful. Oh, you shine like gold, so selfless to all, and wild like an animal. Some would say I'm insane in the right and the way, but I just love to play in your fun and your games. Always hungry for more, that's just how I was born. Take me somewhere I don't know and give me your freedom. Whoa, you love me to pieces, yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium, life is so easy. Whoa, you love me to pieces, yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium. The limit of love is endless, I know. Just do what you want with once you're pandemonium. Life is so easy. Whoa, you love me to pieces. Yeah, I need it once you're pandemonium. Oh, baby, I love your madness. It's so incredibly beautiful.
And we're back.
Oh no, Graham's here. Look at that.
Graham's in chat. Graham.
Hi, Graham.
Yeah.
Is he gonna corrupt us?
You can't.
I'll take corruptions right now.
Just spit on
I
myself.
took the
it's
corruption
fine.
bar off. There is no corruption bar. But
No
I can
corruption.
I can put it on
I mean,
though
you
if you
say
want me
that,
to.
but
Corruption bar is the friends we made along the way.
You don't have to have a bar to get corrupted.
Should I put the corruption bar on screen just completely full
No.
right now?
I mean, if you
I'm-
want to.
I'm
For
here
fun.
for it.
I'm gonna
Speaking
do
of
that.
corruption, Alex was
Speaking-
saying something.
Yeah.
oh, I was just saying that.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure we could still corrupt the rest of this.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure. Corruption bar is on the screen.
We haven't even mentioned.
Why is it
sandwiches
full?
yet.
No.
All
Not full yet.
I'll get rid of it.
This is why it's tag teamed Mindy and Alex.
Do we want to talk about sandwiches?
No.
Yes.
Speaking of corruption, you all saw a lot of corruption.
Sure did.
I was gonna, like, I don't even. A lot of corruption. It's just a very corrupt campaign. That's kind of
So corrupt.
what I gathered. So, Goat,
Yeah.
could you, and honestly, this question's asking for all the corruptions that happened and impacted, how the story kind of unfolded. But to be quite honest, like, I don't even know if you kept up. Like, that's a lot of corruption. But, like, what were the favorite pieces of corruption that you were able to implement thanks to some kind and generous members of our community?
Is that what we're calling them? Kind and generous?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I knew for a fact that Sheogorath was going to be one of the first ones.
Yeah.
I practiced that accent. I did not do Wes proud. I don't actually know that. I just don't think I did it very well. I kind of became a pirate at the end. But that actual one, actually, it was only a 1-bar corruption. But that one was pretty pivotal because his whole thing is madness. And what's more maddening than when you meet a group of people that are full of secrets and don't really want to talk to each other, you make them confess shit. And so that was his whole thing, was like you were answering questions. And so it was a 1 tier. Like there wasn't like a whole thing to it. But it was just enough to get people like, wait, what? So I liked that one a lot. The Meridia one was interesting. The first part of it was obviously the dungeon trap that affected Altamir a little stronger than everyone else. Then there was the second part of the Meridia corruption was actually the Daedra attacking during the night, because Meridia was affecting them during the day. So that changed like how the last battle was going to go. Then you had the Namira corruption, which that one was rough because you had the high priest that they had to fight in that gross encounter, and then the second of Namira's reclaiming of Bashir, which that did not go the way I thought it was going to. I thght you were going to be like, oh, throw hands, let's fight. And you guys like sort of fought, but then you were also like, no, please don't. Like there was this weird mix of like social encounter, combat encounter. Yeah, the Tyrael do whatever the fuck you wanted. My favorite corruption that happened though was the 2-bar here scene.
Ooh.
Yes. I agree with that.
Oh, that's a good one.
I think. At first, it was just going to be that the werewolves are going to be rowdy and they were going to disrupt y'all's attempt to tame the creatures whose name I'm forgetting at the moment. Indrix, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I taught y'all so well.
Steel trap.
I want one for a mount.
Taming the Indrix, which I actually thought y'all were going to work harder on taming them as mounts. That was an option. I had them statted, but you just didn't go for it.
They're
so,
intelligent creatures.
Yes, they were. And if you'd made the right appeal, they would have been happy to go with you. But so it started as the 1 bar, and then right before session started, Graham threw on an extra 1. I'm pretty sure it was Graham. Threw on an extra 1 and said, I don't care. And so per the rules of the custom corruption, it was dealer's choice. And I was like, you know what would make this interesting? Let's 2 bar here C instead of doing a mix. And that encounter was epic.
Mm-hmm.
Lady Dame did an excellent job RPing the whole Mistress of the Hunt thing by staying really strong and then collapsing afterwards. Because you had 5 HP left.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was 1 hit away from going down.
Yeah, it came down to on that last turn, you both had. I think the Hound had 9, and I think you had 5 or something.
Yeah, it was 5 or 10. I can't remember. It was not very.
it was close. But that first challenge for your title, it's okay, you know what? You're fucking up. Here we go. And so I actually really liked that one because of the way it played out. I made a big point before session to tell the group, y'all don't have to fight. Because I'm big on that. I don't railroad. There's always options. There's always things you can do. And so they not only did they fight, they did a 1-on-1, and that it was just ended up being really such an epic moment for the corruption to come through. So that's probably my favorite.
Can I tack on a question?
You go ahead.
Sorry, you want to finish first? I had another question for Goat.
Oh yeah, no, this was related. I wanted to say that I loved that Sheogorath was the first one, because it established how ridiculous and how chaotic these corruptions were going to be. It was an easy win. It was a 1 bar, so it was really easy, silly, fun, but it gave a really solid example of how ridiculous it could get.
So my follow-up question for Goat, since we are talking about corruption, is: are there any corruptions you wish you got the chance to use from any specific princes that you didn't get to see?
I really wanted a Hermaeus Mora one to come up. Just to screw with you, Mayor. Everybody had some odds and ends connection to a Daedra, or a Daedra-connected being. As we had a large lore argument about at one point.
We had a large lore debate.
We were both quoting the same thing, but 2 different parts, I think is what it ended up being. It was dumb. So I really wanted a Hermaeus Mora one, because that would have been a really interesting information exchange. I did do Clavicus Vile, and that one was fun because I got to make anagrams and mess with you all. That was fun. I also really wanted Molag Bal, just to mess with Luke. Because in the first episode, Luke gets hit with a Phantasmal Killer, which is a high-level illusion spell where you are haunted by the deepest fear that you have, and Altamir's deepest fear at that point was losing control of this strange power he didn't understand. And so what he saw was being summoned to Cold Harbor, the Oblivion realm of Molag Bal, and being brought to his throne and overpowered, and that was what he saw right then. So I really was hoping that was going to come in so that I could continue on and sort of give that layer of conflict to Altamir's story. So those were the 2 that I would have liked to have seen, but it's not a big deal. Music slaps.
Right. Honestly, I really wish there was a Hermaeus Aurora one because he's my favorite Daedric prince. So I was really hoping that some kind, generous soul in chat would provide that for us. But I think we got some plenty good Hermaeus Aurora content even without corruption. So that was super cool, honestly, from my perspective at least.
Fun fact: Kat did not know she was making a deal with Hermaeus Mora at the very beginning.
What did she think she was doing?
She was looking for a book.
Magical book.
And I was trying to find it, and Goat said this book does not exist in the game, and you can't get it normally. But he's like, I'll give it to you for free, where you don't have to spend your 8,000 gold if you IMRP it with me. So I got
And you believed him?
I didn't know that's what that was.
Oh yeah, I got
What?
The Merchant is what it's called.
I got a Manual of Bodily Health by IMRPing and making a deal with Hermaeus Mora. And it was too late to back out for Kat, so she's using what she got.
Oof.
It was great though.
Big oof.
I always ask this question because I think it's a super fun question to ask people. What other Sunsets character do you think you would be most comfortable playing? Goat, this could be any of the PCs you see before you as well.
Tyrell.
Cat.
Hey, high five!
Hey! Love it!
As Than has said multiple times in our callouts, Kat and Tyrell are two sides of the same coin, just on the opposite spectrum.
Yep.
I personally think I could do. I would never be able to do Ragna the way that Eva does Ragna because her optimism and her sort of like weird connections are things that I really love and really like playing in other characters that I have. So I would feel most comfortable, I think, playing Ragna.
I was gonna say the exact same thing because I feel like Ragnar and Alt had this weird kinship of like outlook, I guess, that was charming. But I couldn't do Ragnar half of as much justice as Eva, but I don't know. There's some kind of fun whimsy to Ragna that I think I would enjoy buying into.
Oh, I want to say too, I think Alt would be super fun to play, but I couldn't be as, I don't know that I could come up with this scathing of a burn as Altamir as Luke does with Altamir. Like there was some shade being thrown. There was some, and some really good one-liners that were just oh shit. Yeah.
Yep.
That's why my answer is Aoife, because like I agree about Ragna and Alt, but there were just so many multiple times a session where I just can't do it. Yeah, Aoife, the sass and the absolutely leaning into the weird, I think I could get behind.
I think I could play Altamir pretty well, but I wouldn't, because Altamir had a ton of similarities to Lindriana. They were both pretty catty. They were both, obviously they're both vampires. So there was that. So actually, I think I would have really enjoyed playing as Aoife. I would have had to work on my accent a little better, but I'm a Daedra whore. Let's just be honest here. That's how I play the games. That's how, I've tried to be like, I'm gonna play a 9 Divines playthrough, and I finished the Knights of the Nine, and that's about as much as I've ever done with that. It just, they're just not as cool.
I would say, because I'm not clever enough to play Ragna. I'm not witty enough to play Alt. And I don't have enough bravado to play Aoife.
How are you Methan?
That's what I'm saying. Like Cat is a lot like Eldon. And so like I've already played Cat. I play
They're
Cat on Monday nights here on
BFFs.
O for A. Very similar characters. And so I would feel natural. Now, if we're asking who would be the most fun to play, Aoife. I would have a blast playing a Werelock. That whole thing was so cool. No, I think I wouldn't have been sassy. I would have been more of an asshole. But like, not like Tyrell asshole, because Tyrell doesn't give a shit. It'd be like the asshole that actually gives a shit and is just intentionally being an asshole to everybody.
So, speaking of this, like, oh, well, I could play this character, I could play this character, it would be fun to play this character. Were there any characters on the cutting room floor? Were there any other character ideas that you had? Were there backup characters? I know we joke around a lot about that here in the O4A community.
Belden and Fiona.
Yeah, Felden and Fiona. Were there any legitimate other character concepts that you either had in mind or might have been interested in playing should your character have perished?
Nope.
Cool. No backup plans. Like I'm glad to hear it.
You can't. The thing is, you can't kill Cat or Tyrell. So what's the point of making one up?
I mean, I tried.
You did.
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
I just have a really bad memory, so.
Oh.
I think I had an idea to potentially make a Mage from the College of Winterhold. That would have been a cool tie-in. But other than that, that was as far as I got.
I will say, you're saying that, yes, I did consider for like maybe 5.5 minutes of real time making a wizard from a college. I thought about it, but I'm like, why would I not be an assassin for the Dark Brotherhood? What the fuck are you thinking? Just be a fucking rogue.
Although I will say, with mine, Alt had a lover that only people who have seen his IMRP would know about, and he is from the College of Winterhold. So I was like, you know what? If I can't do it,
BRB gonna read that later.
I know. There's a few I have to read still.
I will say that there was another character concept that Mare had. It didn't ever get fully fleshed out, and it became Cat. But you at first were wanting to play like an archaeologist,
Not
samurai.
Really?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Because when you said you want to do the samurai subclass, I said you could be a blade,
Right.
and go that route, or you could be an Akaviri scholar, and you have this weird like knowledge of weapon ancient styles thing. Like it was an interesting idea I had, but then you were like, nah, I want to be a blade. So
You have a better memory than I do because I don't remember this.
I do remember you not going the fighter samurai route first because I was like, oh, I want to be a fighter. I want to do something I haven't done before at high level. That's super smart.
I know we both talked about being part of the Fighters Guild.
Yeah, and then you were like, oh, I want to be a fighter, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to pick something different.
No, you don't.
I know. Obviously that didn't work out, but I remember you thinking something different at first. I don't remember archaeologist. But...
I don't remember either. On a side note, since we're talking about classes, I'm sorry if I'm butting into the hosts. Can I ask you something, Eva, about your character classes?
Yeah.
So I know when we jumped, for those who don't know, we jumped from level 8 at character creation and we doubled it to level 16. And at first I thought you were fully fighter. Did you make that change later in the campaign to multi-class?
Man, that memory of mine, what a trip. Yeah, no, it did change later on. I almost want to say after we started.
It was after session 2.
Because you gave us an option to like switch stuff around.
Yeah, I had asked you if you wanted to play like a religious character of some kind. You had said no, but then as we were playing, you're like, actually, can I do a storm cleric of kind? And I was like, yeah, sure. And so I think we let you redo like 3 levels into cleric or something like that too.
Okay. 2, yeah.
I think I told
I
you you
forgot
could do
about
up to
that.
3. Is what
I think it's because I like mentally finished her backstory and I was like, I made some choices I regret.
Hmm.
So.
Yeah, I think I said earlier Eva was gonna be like my first plan for Eva was a cleric, but she wasn't Eva at the time, and that was as far as I got until I was like werewolf, because I'm secretly like, honestly, like I've been werewolf trash for a really, really long time. Not so secretly werewolf trash.
Yeah, because I think we were all like shocked when you started casting cleric spells, Eva.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
There also wasn't anything else. Like, when we were putting this together, Goat had said, and of course I'd played through so I knew, but like, Elder Scrolls is a big mismatch of martial and caster, and like, classes are weird. You can do all sorts of weird stuff, and I was like, I'm just a absolute straight fighter with like no anything, but it would make a lot of sense given her background and everything else to have her be more connected with kind. And I think my main options were either Storm or Death. Grave, not Death, Grave.
Very different.
So I was like, let's lean into this a little more.
That's really Goat opened my eyes to something that I hadn't, because I'm relatively a newcomer to D&D, and he opened my eyes to the fact that you could take like Magic Initiate as a feat and cast spells without having to be a casting class. And I didn't know that. I didn't think about it, and because I was thinking about doing the the Arcane Trickster, because Elder Scrolls is, there's so much magic in Elder Scrolls. It is in everything. Everybody that can fight can do magic of some kind. It's very rare to find someone who can't in an Elder Scrolls world. But I wanted assassin. I wanted the assassin subclass really bad because I like it. I'm comfortable with it, and I knew it, and it fit. And so yeah, that was a late thing that I did when we were actually building his character, adding the Magic Initiate and giving him some spells. Which of those he only got to use?
Used Detect Magic, which
I used
was
Detect
so
Magic.
clutch.
I think that was the only one I
So
used.
clutched.
I had Minor Illusion that I almost used, and I had Sword Burst that I never got a chance to use. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Oh no.
That would have been really cool from coming from Tyrell.
Yeah.
I was trying in that
Initiate- go ahead.
in that fight with the cannibal thing. I had the perfect opportunity to do that Sword Burst, but then I can't remember what happened. I think I forgot to use it. Honestly.
I just wanted to point out it's kind of neat to see how different characters came about top down versus bottom up in terms of like wanting an identity. Like some of us rooted our ideas in the mechanics of 5e, some of us rooted it in just the lore and the Elder Scrolls kind of realm, and that was really neat. And I think it's kind of like fun to be like with Altamir being a not bard, because realistically he pretty much was a bard before he became a vampire, and then it kind of took over. So it was neat to kind of root the character in so much of the actual lore and not need it to be grounded in mechanics right away. That it's just neat to see the differences between the party in that way.
And speaking of all the neat things that these players and characters have done over the past few months, can you talk about some of the favorite RP moments you've seen from other characters that are not you at the table? Goat, this includes you. I will also add the stipulation that we can't all talk about Aoife saying that I don't talk to Prey. Like, I know that's the correct answer, but we can't all say that. So let's get that out of the way.
So we're all just going to talk about Ragna now, right?
I'm going to jump in first and say Ragna giving her inspiring speeches.
Oh my gosh.
So good.
Anything Ragna.
Ragna's speeches.
Anything Ragna.
I mean, literally anything Ragna, but I'm going to pick specifically the inspiring leader speeches.
So I'm gonna pick one for each of you, just real fast. With all of you had some great quips in the darkness, that was really fun to watch you all deal with the deals that were attempting to be made. So that was great. But more specifically, I really liked the Tyrell Ragna moment that happened in like session 2, because that was seeing like a really sensitive side of Ragna and a weirdly sensitive side of Tyrell kind of at the same time. So that was a really interesting part. There was a Cat and Altamir when they were leaving the Durrani estate. There was kind of a you don't know what's going on, but you do know what's going on moment where it's like, are you okay? Well, I'm okay-ish. And there's this. It was this really interesting of two people who were very smart, kind of like dancing around each other, thinking they knew what the other one was getting at, but not. So I really liked that. And then Lady Dame's interaction with her patron. Yes. I said this multiple times in callouts. A lot of times with the Warlock patron, you've got like the I'm evil patron, dance for me, like this really asshole patron. And while the Daedra can be, Hircine's not really. And so that it was almost like romantic at some spots. And so that was a really interestingly different dynamic to see. So those are my favorites of y'all melding together.
I don't know. I really liked the 180 Ragna did with Cat's dad. Like,
oh, you stole mine!
God,
like,
yes.
Holy shit! I was not expecting
Ooh.
that from sweet little Ragna. Just, I'm gonna rip his tongue out. I'm like, holy shit.
My favorite part of that was, no, you're not. You're not. Oh, I'm not asking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that was. Oh my god.
That was a tense situation, and it was so good.
Just said not to kill him. What else was I supposed to think?
It was wonderfully roleplayed.
Didn't say not to maim him.
Fair. Loopholes.
It's hard to pick down just one
I know.
thing.
Yeah.
I'd say Aoife had a lot of great moments with her commanding presence and her posse to call in. There was a lot of just really like, oh damn, this person is powerful, just like at the tip of her fingertips. Yeah, that obviously got all these at her beck and call. It was just insane to see her command such power. So that was for all those.
Mine is sort of the opposite of that. I loved Aoife, like, after they made up, Aoife being so sweet and considerate to Ragna, even when it was, like, kind of poking fun, like, the whole spider thing, but there was always this surprising underlying kindness, like, they made up, so, okay, like, we're gonna goof around, but no, we're friends, we're pack, and that's it. That's where we are now. And gosh darn it, Mare. Yes. So that was probably mine, was just Aoife weaving that into Lady Dame weaving that into a lot of our interactions.
I gotta cheat and throw in the moment that was so beautiful between Aoife and Ragna when Aoife first turned into a werewolf and Ragna was like, I need to ask you some questions. It was so adorable.
I have a shite memory for a lot of things. So I want to say one of my favorite character moments was anytime that Kat like took command of a situation.
Yes.
This came up a few times, and especially like knowing that Mare doesn't have a lot of like context for like what the blades were and stuff like that. And granted, I don't either, but I think for at least from my perspective, I find it really hard to be like, no, I'm in charge of a like group of people and I'm going to come up with solutions and this is how we're going to lay about this. But going into the final fight, her taking command of everybody and saying, this is how we're doing this. This is what we're going to do. And being this like super strong leader and making these really strong choices, I like are just so impressive to me. And like Kat fully like was so strong and so powerful in that, and not because she like is necessarily physically strong, although she is like this, she is a leader, like a leader. And as much as like Aoife's like, you are far too good for me, I mean like I don't agree with any of your moral stance right now, however, one, you protect Ragna and I respect that, and two, like you take charge and I also respect that. Like there was a respect there, so that's fit for me.
Love you.
Can I butt in on that one and say that I loved Kat in the sort of final confrontation scene. There was a moment in particular where she's like talking to people trying to set up a defense or something like that, and she's asking for like spellcasters to do a thing. And the person she's asking is like, oh, we don't have spellcasters who could do that. And like Kat doesn't say this, but her energy was just like, then get better spellcasters.
Yeah.
Like that was just like the overwhelming vibe I was getting. I'm like, I love this. This is great.
For Goat, I was going to say one of the best moments, or just kind of continuation of moments, was all of Lynn's interactions with the party. That was so well done and very multifaceted. It grew into different relationships with different people of the party, and it was just really well integrated.
I love Lynn.
How many of us had a crush on Lynn?
I sassed her ear off. I couldn't say that.
Zero doesn't crush on anyone.
What about Than?
Than crushes on
Crush on
everyone.
Okay, that's fair.
Literally everyone I know.
I'm
so-
got you, Than. Mare had a crush on Lynn. Kat did not.
That's fair.
Aoife had a crush on Lynn for sure, and Lady Dave.
Welcome to O4A, where all we do is ship different characters / ourselves.
Yep.
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 Unapologetically.
Set sail.
Unapologetic. That's right.
So, I'm gonna jump to something a little. Actually, no, I'm gonna jump to some of the questions we got in chat. So Goat, because we're, spiders are a thing. How surprised were you when Alt forced the spider Daedra to walk off the tower?
Okay.
What
so,
was the level of surprise from? Oh my gosh!
The ability that Luke used was the 14th level class ability for the sorcerer from like the homebrew subclass. When I wrote that, I was like, this will be great in those like almost combat situations where you're like having a social encounter that's going wrong, and so you do this mass mesmerize thing to like to sway it back to calm, or like oh, you can do it in exploration. Bella! So Bella's in the chat. So I knew it could be used in combat because players are creative. That's just gonna happen. I just didn't think charisma-based casting monsters were gonna fail their check, especially ones that can walk on walls and then fail their dex save to catch the tower. That was
great.
God, that I was shocked when that happened.
And then I telekinesis them off.
Yeah, I just every ounce of that was everything I love about players using abilities in weird ways. Like I don't know if I told this to any of you guys, but when I homebrew, like I like to. Sometimes it'll be really specific, obviously, what something's for. Sometimes it's like, yeah, it does this. And it's just kind of open to, it can be used in a lot of weird ways. And that was just such an epic moment. Like, yeah, these are these challenge rating 21 legendary Deadlands generals I'm just gonna yeet, like just. Oh God.
So, again, trying to make sure I don't miss the ones in chat. I have a question for Eva. What conspiracy theories did you want to use, or did you have any extras that you didn't get a chance to? Did you have any in mind? Did you have any? Tell us more.
Yes, is the short answer. So I spent one feverish night drinking too much beer and spending far too much time on the internet. It was a Elder Scrolls wiki like rabbit hole of I would just click one thing and another thing, and I'd be like, oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. And it could have just been like a regular fact, or it could have been just like, I don't know, things that I still don't understand, even though I've read it like 50 times. Like, I'm not smart enough for it as a player. And Goat's gonna laugh when I say this, but Chim, the like whole characters in the game kind of achieving some sort of existential epiphany where they like raise up and they're like, oh, I see, we're in a game. It's like very meta, and it's like absolute understanding of everything that's going on. And I think this happened to Vivek, maybe? And I really wanted to tie that in somehow, but I just couldn't piece it together. Goat sent me like a whole list. He had me roll on like history and religion and all that good stuff, and sent me just like a massive list of all this dope stuff. And then delightfully he forgot about it, which is how we ended up with Goat's shocked face when I wanted to summon Sheogorath. So good, because that one was straight out of his list. I didn't even think about that. I was like, yeah, okay. Well, if he suggested it, clearly he's not going to be surprised if I mention it. Like, I didn't expect him to let me do it.
So good.
But there was no question as to why I was collecting cheese, because it's Ragna. She's weird. Why wouldn't she collect cheese? The only other one that I think I came up with that I really kind of wanted to tie in somewhere was, especially when we started talking about like Daedra and Aedra and kind of going into religion, how Silt Striders are just living horse gods, but I couldn't like slide that in there in a conversational way. So I was disappointed with myself for that one, but she got some pretty good ones off, so like, I'm not disappointed.
Honestly, as an Elder Scrolls nerd and who's played so much of it, when you dropped the Pelennor thing, I died.
That was my favorite. I was sitting on that for so long, and I was so happy. I asked Goat for 2 books, and it was The Song of Pelennor Whitestrake, Volume 5, and the 3rd edition. Yeah.
God.
Empire. Thanks, Goat.
The cheese thing was a meme. That was just, I threw that one in there as a meme, because some of them were gonna have like some bases, like all the Spriggan stuff was gonna come up, because I knew that was gonna come up.
Oh,
so
yeah,
like,
that was
I wanted
solid.
that interaction to be, but some of them were just like nonsense.
No, there's a good one like Nirnroot being the source of magic, and like if you don't have enough Nirnroot, like you don't get a lot of mages.
Yep.
And I would have liked to have used that one. And I think I got wow, I just lost their name. The fish with the teeth.
The slaughterfish.
Slaughterfish. I think I got that in there somewhere.
did.
I recall that being
The
referenced.
crystal being a big slaughterfish egg.
Oh god.
Oh
yeah.
my god. Did I say that? That's
You did.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
The crystal tower
dang.
crystal.
And the spiders is where you get jelly.
Oh god.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was in my intro.
Yeah.
Man. Past me was classic.
Present you is classic, and future you will be classic. Don't downplay
Fair.
yourself.
No, don't be nice. Don't be nice to me. But yeah, the horse gods would have been nice to slide in there somewhere.
All right, before we, I guess, get to our last question, I do have a couple of quick rapid fire questions for Luke here specifically. One, so Alt said he got carried away, and that killed me a little bit, and Ranger Zone tonight was my revenge. But anyway, can you tell me what happened a little bit about Alt's misadventures away from the group, and then B, can you tell me, because you and I have briefly talked about how you really like these sort of confident, bold, extroverted characters. Do you think that Alt was like different in a significant way from any of them, or do you think you have brought a lot of lessons from like these previous characters into Alt? So I guess, can you just talk about both of these things real briefly?
Yeah, so the first question that's easier is what happened to Alt when he got carried away and had a two session break. And he basically, this is to paint the scene for everyone. This was right when we had landed in the Psijic Order's headquarters. I guess it was a big old castle on its own isle on Somerset. And in the chaos of Mr. Here and I trying to break in, or at least what we thought was Angermar, Alt got recarried out by a griffin, and he basically crash landed in the forest of the Isle. He kind of, got roughed up a little bit, but then he was found by a Psijic monk, just one that was passing by, and there were some conversations that were had and some expressions of frustration, specifically with regards to Alt's condition, being a vampire and having to give into some very predatory, urges and such. And so there was a light conversation had before Alt was given the knowledge to cast the spell Time Stop, which was an ancient, according to Goat, which is something that is very specific to specific groups in the Elder Scrolls world, and potentially maybe even exclusive to the Psijic Order. And because they are so well versed in magic, this was something that Alt did not get to utilize later, but he almost did. So basically, he just had a quick pause before he came back.
Quick pause.
Anyway, I'm glad that you picked that up.
God damn it.
And I just came up with that. And the second question of my kind of like typecasting of myself to certain roles, I think I definitely took a lot of the foundation for Altamir from my kind of very bardic and kind of confident characters that I always kind of love to play and have fun with. However, I think it was the fact that I could build off of that from his story with the vampire scenario, along with kind of feeling alone in this party on this strange place with kind of caught with his pants down, because when he first arrived on Somerset, he still didn't really know how to control his vampirism. And so, like Goat said, he was very vulnerable about losing control, and he could have just gone on a murderous rampage and tried to suck everyone's blood in the Isles. And so that was something where I used the kind of bravado and that pompous attitude as the foundation, but then I kind of threw myself a curveball by saying, well, what if he's not confident? What if he's vulnerable and kind of totally out of his element? And so I think it was satisfying to not just stay in that one track personality the whole time, and that came out as I played Alt throughout the campaign. There were some moments where I was less alive, and Alt was thinking. So, yeah.
It was a fun thing that we didn't really get to explore in the campaign, but is kind of a backstory of Tyrell and Alt came to Somerset on the same boat. And Tyrell was just skulking around like he does. And somewhere in the bottom of the ship, he found this fucking vampire because he can't control it, and he's not out of control yet, but it's obvious because Tyrell's in the Dark Brotherhood, and there's a lot of vampires in the Dark Brotherhood. I know all about that shit, and I recognized immediately. And Tyrell also recognized immediately that having someone with that kind of power would be very useful for what he's trying to accomplish. And so, and I wish we'd have been able to do this in the game, but every now and then, whenever Alt would start to kind of get there and start wanting to feed, he would offer to let him feed.
Speaking of that,
on my arm.
Speaking
on my
of
wrist.
that too, I was thinking the same exact thing because I know I briefly mentioned it to at least Luke. Like, if Luke said, like, if Alt was actually like a good person, Kat would have done something very similar, and allowed that as well.
See, two sides of the same coin. You're doing it out of friendship, and I'm doing it out of usefulness.
You may be of use to me.
Maybe of use to me, and I don't need you killing everyone on the ship because I need to get to Somerset. Here.
There's like a lot of stuff I wish came up, but didn't. Unfortunately. Mindy, are you muted? Oh, there you are.
Oh, you know, I just like to talk really quiet because I'm a very quiet individual. Clearly. Yes. So we are running out of time, but there are a couple more questions, one or two, maybe more questions. So what changed for? Oh God. Okay. Bye. What changed for your character when you went from a mid-level campaign to a high level? It's like what? Oh, yep. So what? There's some faces happening right now. What are some things that changed for your characters?
I will go because mine's a very simple answer. Absolutely nothing. Just trying to figure out how high of in the rank she was, and that's it. Other than that, nothing.
Go. For mine, for Alt, I think the main question, this was a big curveball when you go through this at us, and it was the kind of like, once we had established our identities as characters, it's like, how do you go from someone where you kind of expected them to be on a certain power level and the world around them to reflect that to something much more, worldly powerful. So for Alt, it was more of his own ambition that I channeled that into as a performer and as a illusionist, and that's what led to Alt's situation. Is that he had an oopsie at a performance, and he tried to fly too close to the sun with magic, and that was like how I channeled that higher levelness into his performances.
Tyrell took Magic Initiate. He wasn't going to have any magic at all at level 8. But when we leveled up.
You also had a rank change. You went from just being like a member to a
Yeah. I was just a regular Dark Brotherhood dude, and then I went to Silencer, actually.
The Silencer.
The Silencer. Rules don't apply to me.
I can go. I actually asked this question, I know, because for Aoife, it changed everything for her, was that level change. And I had at the mid-tier level for Aoife, she would have been much angrier, a much angrier character, because she would have been still in the Fighters Guild and still at least somewhat connected to the Fighters Guild. Which we only touched on briefly because by the time we got to the high levels, she was she was half feral again, and she was frustrated because she wasn't getting the respect that she thought she deserved and that she wanted desperately. She at the mid-tier level, she would have also been a lot more cautious because she couldn't transform fully at that level, but also like Daedric worship in Skyrim, which is where she's from, is not well regarded, and so she would have been hiding that a lot because she would have been like, it would have been very dangerous for her to be a follower of her scene at the time. She would have been a lot more resentful of Ragna at the time as well, just because that's part of that anger. And so a lot changed when we when Goat was like, hey, let's do it at this high level, he messaged me and was like, okay, so here's the deal. At this level, Aoife's not just one of Hircine's hunters, she's the mistress of the hunt. And with that title change, everything changed. Suddenly she had power. I mean, she had the power, she had the title, she had the respect, the thing that she's been looking for the whole time. When she gets to Somerset, where they don't, where Daedric worship is a little like, it's more common or less like frowned upon, that was why she was able to turn, that she felt kind of free to turn into that werewolf at the very beginning, is because she's like, fuck it, I'm on Somerset, like I'm allowed to do this now. Let's like, and again, she's now more feral because now at the higher levels, in order to like stay safe in Skyrim, she would have spent more and more time in the woods and spent less time around people. And yeah, she just had this confidence, and that made it easier to forgive Ragna, or to like come, make friends again with Ragna, because now she's like, look, the reason I'm at where I'm at, the reason I have the strength that I have, the reason that I'm the warlock is because of how we were as children, and because you teased me because you were the big Nord and I was the tiny Breton, and like that's now, and now I look at all I have because of because of our friendship, because of our, because I was constantly trying to be like you. So that for me was like Aoife, I think I had like a whole character arc in the before times for her.
For Ragna, it was mostly just being a Fighters Guild hireling, I guess, random person, to being experienced. I mean, she's goofy, but she knows what she's talking about. Not like conspiracy theories, but like when it came to like delves and practical things, tactical things. Well, clearly the Spriggans were true. I don't know where you were, but they were there, and we met the like High Queen, matron. So pay attention. But I think in that time, and I don't know if I'd written this out, but like she would have gone from like being a follower of Mara to Kyne. Her personal life, I think, changed a bit. But otherwise, like, she was mostly the same, like, practically speaking.
All right, so I'm pretty sure that if I ask you any questions about sandwiches, I will have more than one person very, very disappointed with me, and I may not live to see another day on this channel. So I will go ahead and ask about the next best thing, which is...
raviolis?
Well, no, those are sandwiches, right? So I can't ask about those.
Alex.
Because those are very clearly sandwiches.
Alex,
I'm
focus.
sorry.
Hey, I didn't start it. I didn't start that one.
This is my fault. Sorry.
So, if I'm not allowed to talk about sandwiches, I will talk about the next best, next most relevant thing, which is, if each player character was a cheese, what would they be?
Goat.
A Bashir.
No,
Yeah,
no,
Bashir.
Ragna has an answer for this, if that's okay.
She does.
Oh my god,
For
yes,
everyone
of
or
course.
just for Ragna?
Oh no, no, Ragna is not selfish. She would think of her good friends and Tyrell.
What about Bashir? Do you have one for Bashir?
Bashir is best friend, yeah.
Good
So-
friends plus Tyrell.
My god.
Yeah, you need to differentiate. This is important. Very nice,
sorry.
Ryan.
I need
Well,
to. Okay.
Let's start with Tyrell, so he can feel fancy. Tyrell, blue cheese, because sharp.
I was gonna say.
Not everyone likes him. But at the end of the day, still very useful, and honestly still pretty good.
Holy shit.
Cat is like a brie, so sort of fancy, but you don't really know why it's fancy, because like a lot of people Wow, I should work on my phrasing for that. A lot of people appreciate Bree and Kat, and very good at what they do. I don't know how Kat is on crackers, but you know, good in a lot of different situations. There we go. Didn't think that one through very well. Alt is like a Gouda, so like that smoky sort of mysterious, but like you don't really know why, but they're there and they're surprising. And you always kind of, it's not that you forget about Gouda, but it's like surprise, Gouda. So that's like Alt. Aoife obviously is like a pepper jack because spicy and like sharp and definitely not everybody's taste, but also kind of I love her. So Aoife. Bashir is like feta, and I will not be taking questions on that. Ragna, of course, is like cheddar because apparently everyone loves her. And also she's my favorite. So that's what I have to say about that.
And Angramar is like Swiss because he's got a lot of holes in him now.
Hey!
Wow.
Look how they massacred my boy.
He deserved
And
it.
on that note,
He
What a
deserved it.
beautiful.
Did he deserve it? Are you sure about that?
To most of us,
Absolutely
yes.
not.
I don't
Absolutely
care.
not sure about that at all at this point.
I don't know. Did he deserve
Certainly
it?
does
Goat?
not matter.
yes,
Hercene wanted me to murder him, so you know it doesn't matter.
the Night Mother wills it. The sacrament was done.
You killed the Cannon Reeve, so bye.
Wow.
To be fair,
Well, on that
a lot
note-
of people.
On that note, I think we have officially answered the most important question of all without being able to talk about sandwiches, but I'm getting looks from Mindy.
So I think
will
sweet
not.
rolls are sandwiches actually because you have
Okay.
the filling
Okay,
of the
Goat.
icing
Look.
that's in between the swirls, and I
for those
really
of
think that
y'all-
creates like
so be
multiple
sure
infinite sandwich.
We need
Be
to.
sure
Wait, I can
check
mute
our
you in the call, Goat.
I think
Can
anything
you?
can be a sandwich if you want it to be.
He has
So,
been muted. It's fine.
Be sure to check out our Discord and our schedule, and you can continue the sandwich conversation on our Discord. That's what we do on the Discord, not in Fourth Watch, Alex.
And we're obviously
Hashtag
very
sandwich
professional.
facts.
Come to our Discord for sandwich facts. There should be a channel just for Alex, where it's just sandwich facts.
Goat, please make
No.
this happen.
No.
Yep.
There absolutely should be. Goat, get on that.
No, I think
I'm pretty sure
that
you're the
was-
only person who
I
has...
just made fur baby photos.
That was 1000%
That was so
meant
good.
to be a joke. I apologize for bringing it up. I should have known it would be taken seriously. So, why don't we go ahead and sign off? Who wants to get us started?
Hey, I'm Goat. You can find me on Twitter at Swaying Goat. You can find me in our Discord doing stuff. You won't find me in anything for a bit. Got to get some things squared away, but I do have a few things coming. Yeah. So, be on the lookout for that. But otherwise, that's me.
Popcorn it. Who's next?
Mayor.
Hi, I'm
Oh.
Than.
That's not
And-
how popcorning works.
Popcorning sounds. Anyway.
Stop.
Hi, I'm Than. You can find me everywhere on the internet as Thanrand. You can find me here on this channel with some amazingly beautiful people on Monday nights, including that Mindy right over there. And you can no longer find me on this night with these beautiful people after tonight. So that's sad. Also, you can find me on my own channel, twitch.tv/ThanRand, or you can go to onlythans.com and it'll take you there as well. It's a great meme. Yeah, that's about it.
Hi, I'm Mare. You can find me on Twitter at Archmage of Dice. No longer here on Fridays. Sad face. I'm crying. But I will be playing tomorrow night at 7:30 Central Time in the Numenera Remnant game, playing Lichten Bradesby. Whatever, all the way in the corner. Alex is our GM. I also have a couple games coming up on my channel. I have a all Aarakocra one-shot where we will be showcasing the Birds of Paradise supplement about exotic Aarakocra and Kenku. Luke is in that. He's going to be playing one of my players. And on Lady Dame's channel, on the Birds of the
Eva's.
Eva's. I don't remember who we're doing it on. But I'm sorry, the Birds of the Feathers on my channel, and that's going to be the 18th. That's a Sunday. And then on Eva's channel, with Eva and Lady Dame on the 19th and the 26th, that's a Monday, we're going to be playing some 10 Candles for Spoopy Month.
I guess I'll go next to segue into what my channel is, which is Eva Sari on Twitch. I personally play a lot of indie games and freak myself out. I'm an amateur dice maker. I am a part-time writer and a hot mess, I guess. I feel like I'm missing something important. Thanks, Code.
Playing a game on Sundays there?
Just the bestest friend.
Oh, sort of. Also, I am very thrilled and honored to be playing Finley on, I'm not saying it, Alex, you can't make me, on whatever we're calling the Sunday stream. Not stream, Sunday stream. Yep, that's it.
It's other chosen.
I can go next. My name is Luke. You can find me on Twitter at Dr. Petrichor and on the Discord. I currently am not going to be in anything else right now on the channel. This was the last time you'll see Altamir's face, but I look forward to doing more in the future. You can find me doing video game cinematics for my day job, but other than that, I like to think about turtles on Twitter, so come check out that. I guess, is that it? I guess I'm going to be on Mare's Birds of a Feather one-shot, in which we're going to be a bunch of burbs, so come check us all out there. It's going to be amazing.
Guess it's me then. Hi. I'm the Lady Dame. Lady Dame. You can find me at the Lady Dame pretty much anywhere. Let's see. On this channel, even though I won't be here, I am in the Uncaged Anthology campaign run by the amazing DM Anik, and that is Wednesdays at noon Central, where I play very different type of character, and also that, speaking of like not just different character, but also like very different level. We start at level 0 with that one. The bestest of librarians. I am also in the Birds of Paradise one shot that on Mare's channel. I'm also going to be in 10 Candles that was going to be on my channel, but now we're making it on Eva's on the off chance that I happen to die early. Also, sometime near the end of October / beginning of November, I will be back on the Gold Heart Gaming channel, where in the Descent into Avernus campaign, where I play the best barb, and then I also stream on my own channels. In fact, I am theoretically streaming tonight in like 45 minutes in cosplay, where I will be playing Arcade Spirits as one of the new challengers, if I can get dressed on time. So yeah, that's what I do. Best place to just follow me on Twitter, and I'll tweet about what I'm doing when, because there's a lot. Anyway, that's me.
Well, hey, hi, howdy, everybody. I had to fit that in somewhere. Hello. You can find me, well, first of all, hello, my name is Alex. You can find me on Twitter at AxolotlCure. On Sundays, you can find me with great honor playing the role of Bitches in Fiddly and the Bitches. More specifically, I play Kiri, the Eladrin Sadness Paladin. And yes, you can catch me doing that on Sundays from 4 to 7 Eastern, and on Saturdays from 8:30 Eastern to 11 ? Don't quote me on that. I only run that game. 11:30. There we go.
I just work here.
Right. You can catch me running a game of Numenera, which is a science fantasy game that takes place 1 billion years into Earth's future, and we have just started our first episode, so there's not a whole lot to catch up on if you want to join in for session 2 tomorrow night. But beyond that, those are the 2 things I am working on right now, and I think that's all I've got at the moment. Unless you want to talk about sandwiches, in which case join our Discord.
Hi, I'm Nikki. You can find me on. Love you, Alex. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Miss Nindikins. I stream weird. I don't know what I stream. I just stream stuff. But you come to class, I assign homework where I tell you to take care of yourself and love yourself and treat each other kindly. You can also find me here Monday nights, 6:30 Central on Fates Chosen, and also Saturday mornings. We are off tomorrow, but usually Saturday mornings at 10:30 Central Time in Ashes of Azmorin. Make sure you check out all the cool things happening in our little land of TTRPGs. Coming out with us on Discord.
Follow the channel on Twitter at open4adventure.
Fuzzies.
Oh wait, before we do Warm Fuzzies, is it too early to talk about November 7th? We're gonna.
I was just gonna say that.
I'll let you do the honors.
Okay, well, I mean, really. So keep an eye out. We should really start talking about announcing stuff soon, but the channel will be doing a 24-hour stream this year for Extra Life, so keep an eye out for information about that. It's going to be a rocking good time. We've got talk shows. We've got a bunch of games, ridiculousness, 24 hours of TTRPGs, raising money for children's hospitals. It's going to be a good time, so come mark the dates, come hang out with us. It's going to be great. Lots of work is being done, particularly by the fabulous mayor, who's amazing. And no, I don't do anything. I just said, here, let's do the thing. And then I hand it over to mayor and she stage manages the crap out of it. So, anyway, yeah, that's November 7th. That's going to be a good time.
Starts at
Warm
midnight
Fuzzy.
Central.
Yeah.
Midnight Central.
Warm Fuzzies. Who's got them?
I can get it. One moment.
We could start out with Bel Chavez.
You know about Bel Chavez, the original O for A Bay. OG O for A Bay.
Bel Chavez.
Then there's gosh dang it, stupid Google.
Andrew Fellows for the Tables Bay.
The Wiki
Master.
Then we've got Sam.
Guildmaster Sam.
We loved him,
Then
Sam.
we've got PJ.
PJ.
And lastly, this thing would load. Not lastly. We've got Christina.
Christina.
We've got Rick O.
Oh, hey, dude.
New
Yeah.
Fuzzy. We've got Gamer Live.
Gamer Vibes with the 103.
And yeah, we do have another one. We have Deborah.
Ooh.
And did I already say PJ?
Yes.
Okay, then we've got them all.
Woo.
Amazing.
Thank you, Warm Fuzzies.
We love
Thank
you
you,
so
Warm
much.
Fuzzies.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out. This has been a wonderful mini campaign by these wonderful people. It was really great to come and kind of pick their brains and get a last little sit-down chat with these characters and this wonderful GM. Y'all are wonderful. Remember to always love each other, love one another, and we will catch you on the flip side. Have a great night, y'all.
Night.
Bye.